Okay, everyone should be able to see. I've got a room full of heat presses. We're going to talk about all of them. My name is Mark. I'm with Coleman and Company. You can see our sign up there. And this is all about heat presses. Specifically, we're going to talk about the Hotronix brand of heat presses, which is just a long-standing line of brand of heat presses that's just known to be fantastic in quality. And we're going to talk about why that's true, why they built up the brand and the name that they have, and some little things that the heat presses have that you're just not going to see across the board, especially in generic and cheaper heat presses that just don't really have that same build and quality and professionalism that I absolutely love about these products. So I had sold tell you a little bit about me and a little bit about Coleman and Company, then we'll go a little bit into Hotronix. But I've been working in the apparel decorating industry now somewhere around 7 or 8 years. When I first started, I worked for a different company and we sold a heat press very similar to this one here. Very, very similar to that. So it's the first heat press that I was introduced to, and I didn't really understand anything about heat presses or what they were, or why one would be better than the other. I just kind of assumed that that's how they all were. Then as I learned more about the industry, as I went to trade shows, read up on things, came here, we started bringing in other types of heat presses, looking at different lines, trying to find some that might be a better price point, trying to find some that might offer different features that our customers ask for. As I did that, I started realizing, wow, there are a ridiculous number of poor quality heat presses out there. And I just had no idea, the equivalent of somebody maybe driving a Ford F-150 always and then picking up, a cheaper, older truck that just doesn't have all the same features, the same quality, can't tow the same, doesn't last as long. And that's exactly what I had found when I got into the heat press market and started looking at all different things. So we carry a full line of heat presses, and we're going to just kind of go around the room and talk about them all. Now, as far as Hotronix, a little bit about them. If you go on a forum, if you look around, if you talk to people who've been in the industry, people either know about Hotronix or they've owned one themselves, or they wish they did own one if it was a matter of price, possibly. So they're known to be a great brand. They make their heat presses in the USA. You can see, and we'll go around on the side and look at some. They've got the Made in the USA sticker. They have a really great customer service from what I've experienced and what my customers have told me. But if you have something goes bad in your heat press, I've heard stories of them just immediately sending out another one or sending a replacement part if it's something very easy. Or whatever it might be, just jumping on it right away. You can actually get somebody on the phone. You can get somebody via email, which is fantastic. So when you get a Hotronix heat press from Coleman and Company, for one, you can call us and we can probably take care of the problem right away for you. If it's something more technical, maybe you're trying to use a function on the machine and it's not working correctly, or maybe you're just not doing it correctly even. Further from that, we might say, hey, let's get a ticket opened up in Hotronix and get a tech to call you. They call you very fast response time, and they'll take care of it. And that's just the truth about that in the experience that I've seen. And you're just not going to get that with many or most all off-brand heat presses. There just is no customer service. If it breaks, maybe you can find the part if you scrounge around the internet, maybe not. But this is a business investment, and that's why I'm always about premium and good products for your business. Because if your heat press is not working and you do transfers of any type, whether it's vinyl or printed transfers, or if you do DTG, if you do rhinestones or spangles, anything, if your heat press is down, you are not making any garments, right? You're not making any money. You will probably lose a customer, you will probably upset somebody, and you will probably be up really late over the course of a weekend or something like that after something goes down. So we have literally had people buy this heat press. Most recently, somebody bought this heat press, drove about 3 hours to come pick it up. They had an older off-brand heat press. It broke. There was really no repair option. They couldn't find a repair option. So they had to drive down, drive back, I think, and they were going to work essentially all night so they could deliver their job in the morning. And I feel confident in this product that hopefully it wouldn't put you in a position like that ever. So now that I've talked a little bit about me and a little bit about what Coleman and Company will do for you and a little bit about Hotronix, let's actually just talk about the heat presses, because that's all lip service if you don't really see and like what you've got. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go around and we're going to start here and we'll finish around on the back. So I'll bring the camera up close, and for the rest of it, for the most of it, we're going to be up close so you can see the screen hopefully, and you can see the individual operation. So I'm going to come around here. All right, so this first heat press that we're looking at right here, this is the Air Fusion. Okay, just straight up on this one, this will be the coolest heat press you'll ever own. I mean, just an honest to goodness on that. It is awesome. It is very cool. The functionality is really nice. It is operated by air. You do not need a giant air compressor. Essentially, the most inexpensive air compressor you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot or a hardware store will operate this. You don't need a ton. And it's a smart system. So let's see in here. I want to make sure we can see the screen. Okay, we can see it pretty well. That looks good to me. So if you can read on the top there, it says override right now. Why? Because beforehand I was playing around with this and I was adjusting and just playing with pressures, just refamiliarizing myself with everything on the machine again. But in this machine, first and foremost, with the Fusion heat press, it's programmable. So what does that mean? I can click on there, and if you can see it pretty well, try to get in to see even better. So I've got Spangle, I've got FDC Metallics, I've got Spangle Elite, I've got a 2-color glitter, I've got FDC Opaque, and I could choose FDC Glitter. And it tells me that one's set to 325 degrees. Oops. There's a timeout on there. 5 and 10 second timers and 90 and 80 PSI. That's how this is set. Okay, so what does that mean? Let me go into the actual settings and I'll show you how this is set up. So I'll go into my setup, put in my password. It's like a PIN number at the bank. I'm gonna hide it. Anyway, preset setup. Okay, so here's all the presets. And let me just go into this FDC glitter one that I've got set up. I'm gonna use FDC brand vinyl in this quick little sample we're gonna do. But you can actually set up to 4 timers and up to 4 pressures, and then your temperature. And then you can actually name what it is. So I put in FDC glitter, and then I have the first timer at 5 seconds at a 90 PSI. Why? That's my pre-press. I don't mind squishing that shirt down and giving it a really solid, good hot press. And then the next one is a 10-second timer at 80 PSI. That's how long I want to press it for. And I want to do it at 325 degrees. So that's what I've got that set up. You can also adjust it between PSI and bar, depending which one you know you need to do. But like your 90 would be a high pressure, for example. If you need to do like 60, that might be, a medium or a lower. So you can hear the air compressor kind of kicking on. I switched the mode before, so it's going to balance that. And let's go all the way back to the main screen. There we go. So we're at 325. It's set to 325. It actually is 325. And here we're at 90. I got this little exclamation point. It's dropping between 85 and 90. I've got a really long extension cord on my air to get it into this room, but I was able to operate it fine. But that's cool about this smart part of the system is that it says, hey, you've got it set to 90. I can only get to 85. If it gets particularly low, you'll get a big exclamation right in the middle. And I got that a few minutes ago. It didn't come back. If it comes back, you'll get to see a demo of that. But all it really matters is that it is a smart system. It knows how much pressure is in there. And if there's an issue, it's going to let you know. So how does this heat press work? Let's look at it. Let's back it up a bit. Okay. It comes with a cool stylus like this. with a holder. We have not lost it yet. I assume it's because of this. But that's the joke, is when do we lose this thing? But you don't need your stylus. You can actually just use your finger as well. So how does it work? There's a foot pedal down here. Let me show you. Right here. When you press this, it opens up for you. Okay, it's a nice smooth open. And then we can grab a t-shirt. Now this has what they refer to as their threadability. That's the word that they use. That's their trademark registered words they use. Threadability. What does that mean? It means it's incredibly easy to get this shirt threaded on like this for when you're in situations where you can't repress the front and the back. If you're doing shirts, you know, front side and back side and sleeve and multiple spots, oftentimes you don't want to reheat that item over and over again. Some things will be more forgiving, you know, an opaque vinyl might be more forgiving, but rhinestones, you squish those down too many times and the glue just dissipates too much. So you have a problem. Well, with the threadability, you don't have that. That's a beautiful feature. It goes on really nice. And if you put the Teflon wrap on the bottom, I mean, it goes on like a buttered pan. And I'll show you that on another heat press that I have set up with that. So here, we'll have a transfer, and I'll show you, I mean, how production on this would be. I opened it up. I'm going to close it with the tap of a pedal. First press I showed you was 5 seconds, right? So it's going to do a 5-second pre-press. You've got 2 buttons here. This is to make sure you're not pushing one and crushing your hand with the other. You keep 2 hands. Hold that for a second or 2. It'll do your 5 seconds. Opens up, swings open. Put your transfer on. Close it with the tap. And now we're ready to do our 10 seconds. Once it squishes down, you can let go. This is fantastic. One, if you've got back issues, arm issues, wrist issues, I know your heat press hurts. I just know that it does. I know it's uncomfortable. Beautiful. So, I just know that's uncomfortable to work with. You know, I've had issues myself. You know, I use a little mouse thing for my wrist because I get, you know, a little bit of a wrist thing going on here. And if you use a heat press a lot, I know that it's uncomfortable. If you've got somebody who's not particularly strong, you know, they're a very petite person, lightweight, you know, weigh 90 pounds, crushing a heat press at high pressure is hard. Okay, it's a lot of work. So if you've got to do 100 shirts and you're putting high pressure on all of them, it's hard, even for the beefiest of guys. Or ladies, if you're really strong. Anyone who's really strong, it's still a lot of work. So here we can unthread this garment off. Now you can see this one kind of barely fits on, right? As you can tell. You know, that's a medium. I think this is a medium. Yeah, it's a medium. So this platen right here, medium, large, extra large, 2X, no problem. Well, what if I've got a smaller garment? What if I've got something like this, right? There's no way I can thread this on without stretching the shirt. Let me show you something so awesome about this. Okay, so underneath here, it's going to be hard to see without me doing a bunch of acrobatics, but you will be able to see what I'm doing here. Okay, there's a little lever right here, one hand. You can hear it. Okay, pull that. I'm going to try to get in a position where I can show you. There you go. And this lifts right off. And it's heavy, you know, it's built well, but I'm not really struggling to lift it. And you probably saw that on the floor earlier. This only goes on one way, locks into place. And now it's locked in. And we're going to take that garment that we had before. This was a small, kind of a more fitted type of garment. And now we can thread this on. So if we need to switch between production, you know, we're doing all of the, say, the mediums, larges, and extra larges, and now we're going to do the extra smalls and the smalls or the youth sizes. That's how quick it is to switch between. And then I've got another piece of vinyl. This one's not weeded, but this is actually just a commercial right now for the FDC glitter vinyl. So it's just very cool how it weeds. I like to show that off. So, and then we'll pop the middles out really quick. Hotronix. There we go. That looks good to me. And we drop that right on here. Now this is actually a little bit large for this garment. I'm just going to rip a piece off just so we can actually do it together. So we'll knock off, I just knocked off the side, but here we go. So Hotronix, and we'll show how this one will work. We'll put it over, nope, wait a minute. First we're going to pre-press, right? It's automatically programmed to that, it shows that. So I'm going to do my pre-press. Swing. And it's not going to go down unless you're in position. It knows it's smart enough. And you can see kind of the production happening if you're visualizing it already. You know, this shirt comes off. The next one would go on. Back and back and so on and so forth. Right? Now we're done with this. You know, now we're going to move on to say, now we need to switch back to our regular platen. This job is done. We're moving on to the next job. We can take this off and I'll show you, you know, removing this again. Very easy. Oh, don't go. There we go. Got to watch out for that foot pedal. And we're locked back on, ready for the next job. So we'll close that up. Then I'm going to shut this heat press off, just so I don't have 9 presses going on all off at once. It's got a cool shutdown feature. You can, by the way, a couple little anecdotes on this. You can set it to automatically turn on and off, say 9 to 5, turn off mini power switch. You can set it, it will go into a sleep mode. So if you haven't used it in a half hour or so, it'll automatically go to sleep for you. This way you're not wasting power, say if you, or if you just forgot to shut it off. So that's a really another cool function. It has a little screen on here. It does a count for you, so it counts how many jobs you've done, how many presses you've done, so you can actually see the progress that you're making on your work. So here is another heat press now. Same heat press, not air powered, okay? Let's turn this one on. Should be plugged in, yes. Now if we get up close here, let's see, there we go. Same screen as you can see, so same programmability. Essentially everything is the same here. Difference is right there as you saw it. This is the manual process. Now the setup on this is very nice. It's not as much pressure, not nearly as much as plenty of other heat presses I've tried, but it is still work. This has this can swing out this way. It's locked. I'm going to show you that in a minute. The reason why it's locked is because you can drawer as well. So this is very cool. Another cool function. It doesn't have the complete, the same room or depth as the Air one has. So this one, the drawer comes out. Another great way to get that threadability on there. Very cool. And then you could close this up, press, and this has a timer, and then it beeps. When it beeps, you lift it up. It is not an auto open. By the way, it's not an auto open, it's a beep with a timer. And you close it like this, and you open it like that. Now I'll come around the other side. On the back there, you can actually see I can't get back there. Okay. This right here is you twist that and lift it out, and it unlocks it. Now, this is a swing away. And it's very easy. I mean, this is pinky finger easy. So it's really smooth. It's really nice. I've used swingaways. You may have too. That aren't very good. I'm going to pause for a minute because I see the question box up. Let me make sure that everything's going well. Okay. All right. A few questions, and I'll actually jump on those in a moment here. Okay. So somebody asked if they can buy one particular part of the heat press itself. Here at Coleman and Company, we don't sell the individual parts. Okay, if you need another arm or another piece or another handle, that would be through the tech department at Hotronix. They'll determine the right part number and the right piece, and you would order it through them. If you need their contact info, just call us and we'll connect you. If somebody mentioned they came late, I am recording this, so if everything goes well in the recording, you will see it on the internet later. But stick around anyway, because you can participate and ask questions. If you have questions about the presses, ask. You know, even if I don't answer right away, I will notice and come back every couple minutes, and we'll get into it. So the Fusion, where was I? Okay, so let's look at this again. This has the same thing. There's a little lever on the bottom. This is the first time I'm taking this one off, so it might stick a little bit. There we go. And they make all types of cool ones. They make one for doing caps. They make this youth-sized one. They make round one. They've got a bunch of different options. Very cool. And this one's just a little lever. It locks shut, and now this is in. Unlock it open. There we go. And that's locked in. Now, to let you know, as I said, when you get yours and you buy your first one, that first time you lift it off, it's going to feel like it's been shipped and in that spot for a long time. It's going to feel a little bit stiff. Just wiggle it, and then you'll see the subsequent times you do it, it comes on and off really easy without any effort. So I'm going to shut this one down, and we're going to move on in a moment. Let me see if somebody has some questions here. Shut down. Okay. Let me go to my question box again. How much do they weigh? Hey, Tori. On our website, we should have all of the specs. I will say you that none of them are unreasonable compared to any other heat press out there. Let me see if I have the specific specs on this one right now. I have the manual. Let's look at it together a second. While I've got the manual open, let me tell you something. I've read a bunch of manuals in my days, you know. Can I get good light on this? Hopefully I can. It's very bright here right now. Okay, we can get a decent view of it. It's a white manual, so. Okay, but this, I'm a DIY type of person. I make things and build things and fix things all myself. You know, I worked in the auto parts industry, so I've looked at a lot of manuals, and I'm sure you've gotten those manuals that are in 9 different languages, and they're fold up and they're flimsy and there's no pictures and you can't even quite understand the directions. I'm going to tell you that this is the opposite of that. Their manuals might, and I'm not even trying to you know, I've got no reason to kiss up to them, but it's probably one of the nicest manuals I've ever said. I mean, it's on a really nice paper. And let me see if we've got some stats on this machine. It tells you all about it, how to do everything. They have a part breakdown where you can even, you know, you can call them up and say, oh, I need the adapter plate. You know, here's the part number 43. Let's see here. I don't specifically know where I'm looking to see if it actually says the weight in here, but anyone particularly that you want to know the weight of, we can find out for you, if we don't already have it on the website. So anyway, about the cabinet. All right, have you covered the clamshell and the hover on it? I assume you might mean, um, have we covered it with the Teflon wraps? And yes, we've done it before. I have one covered here at the end. The last one we're going to look at is going to have the covers and wraps, which I love. I wish if I owned multiple heat presses, I would want all of them to be wrapped. I would get rid of all of my Teflon sheets. I would get rid of everything that I didn't need, and I would wrap the top and the bottom of this thing and just leave it because it is awesome. I'm going to close my question box. Oh, okay. No, I mean, how can you hover with the clamshell press? Pam, okay. If you've got the hover press, okay, which I will get to with the clamshell one. If you've got the hover press, there is actually instructions that you can actually change it into a hover mode. So I'm gonna, when we get on that one, I'm actually gonna specifically talk about hovering. Okay, on this swing away, this is essentially your hover. All right, so that's about as much as you're going to get to hover, about 2.5 fingers, not quite 3 fingers, about 2.5 fingers. And that's about as much as you're going to hover on this. This is your hover mode. Then you can adjust the pressure from basically almost no pressure, and then you crank this up, and you can dial it down to where you can really put some weight on this. Hey, Lynn, I will. I believe that on the wraps, Lynn had asked about the upper and the lower wraps on some of these. I know we have some new stuff in, so some of the stuff's going to be added on. We will, if you want, just shoot us a quick email or give us a call. And if we don't have it on the website yet, it'll be up really soon. It'll be because we do have upper and lower for both of these machines, and in addition to our hover clamshell, which you mentioned. Okay, so I'm going to jump back on questions in a minute. I want to move over to the cap press real quick, and then we'll go back to questions and we'll do some more questions. So here's our cap press. I'm going to turn it on. Okay, simpler digital display on this one. As you can see, it's going to read basically your temperature and pressure and timer, which is all you set through here. So it's a 3-button machine. It's nice and easy operation, not very complicated. Really cool. It comes with there are different sizes for here, platen, I guess you'd say. And let me show you how this one works. It's very cool. So the hat goes on like this, and underneath here, you've got this metal bar, which you can see. You can actually see pretty well it moving right there in the bottom. Okay, you see it moving up there. So we'll put it up. We put our cap on. Get it centered in place, and you've got a little bar here and this, which is kind of all centered. So it's you got a nice visual to get a good kind of 3-dimensional centering of your cap. I like that. Then when you push this down, the spring holds it into place. So now your cap doesn't move. I mean, it's actually held in there pretty good. You can get a good wiggle, so you don't have to worry about when you're putting your transfer down if it's going to move out of the way. And then you clamp it down. This is set for 8 seconds, it looks like. And there we go. So very cool, simple to use heat press. It's a really nice quality cap press. And as you can see, because we're using the right size platen, I didn't really damage my cap, which is a thing. It's something you don't think about when you buy a cap press, but some of them don't have a very good platen, or the rubber's not very good on it. And as soon as you squish it down and lift it up, you have basically a line in there almost forever, or it takes a while for it to come out. It's annoying. I've dealt with it before. Lynn, you're welcome. Yeah, definitely just call us if you want something you don't see on the site, or you have a question. Our phone number is right on top. We try to be really easy to get a hold of. So just ask us, and if we don't have it, we'll get it for you if we can. So yeah, this is the cat press. There's not a million things to talk about on this thing, but it's very easy. It's just nice and easy to operate. It's a comfortable. The way that the patents that they have on this stuff are very smooth flowing, and it can be really frustrating to have, especially such a little press where you can't get two hands on it if it's hard to squish down. It's really annoying, as a matter of fact. You can adjust the height, which is basically your pressure right underneath here. The higher it goes, the more pressure you're going to put on the cat. So if you need a high pressure, you can turn that up. And even then still. That one there's a little bit of force. It's not too bad though. I don't feel uncomfortable doing that. Okay, Tori, you mentioned good for sleeves. In regards to the cat press, I assume. Um, but yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just a curved, flat area. So yeah, I mean, folks use these for. I've had folks tell me they use them for onesies. They use them for, when they're doing something on the bottom of a garment. When they're doing at the end of a sleeve type of a thing. If you have a small, remember that you've only got this small area to work with right here. But if all you need to press is this, you can use it for shirts, honestly. But you can use it for anything because it's just a regular heat press. The difference is that it comes curved. Thanks, Tori. I appreciate everybody asking questions. Ask, participate. I don't know everything. I pretend like I do, but I don't. And if I don't know it, we'll find the answer for it. And if I can't find it in the book, we'll call Hotronix. We'll call them together if we need to. So here's your heat press. Here's your cat press again. Just another quick demo. It goes on like this, locks into place. You press the time. Whoops. You press. The timer goes off. When the timer goes off, you lift it up. Simple operation. Good machine. And nice quality. So let's move on. There's two things to show you here. Okay. Oh, question. Someone asked about this, where I pulled the key out earlier. No, this is not. This is something that the tech department bought through. I'm not even sure who they bought it through, honestly. I've been begging somebody to bring those in house so we can sell them because I think most of our customers want them and they are cool to have. This one is not really the right size, as you can even see. It's a little bit shy of the length I want it to be, but it was fine for this demo. The other comes with this stand. Okay, that's a caddy. All right, you can get a caddy for this, and you can get your caddy for the Max, and you can get the caddy for the next one that I'm going to show you as well. The Fusion is a rubber foot. It's a tabletop unit. That's how this one is. You just need to buy something that can hold the weight of it, which I think is like 150 or less even. So let's go here, the Max. So what's the Max? The Max is a little bit of a newer line for them. Okay, if you've seen the Hotronix line, you've seen that for a while now, for years they've been around, but the Max is newer. What's the Max? Why did they come out with the Max? It is their answer to a more economically friendly press. Okay, it doesn't mean that it doesn't still uphold to the same quality of what they build, but it does mean that it's just the sizes and the options that they come just are not as extensive. Okay, but here's the Max. I like these a lot. The black look is cool. It looks great in the shop. The sticker and the logo is really nice. Still uses their same kind of patented design in regards to opening and closing this. But what we're using now is their tabletop caddy. Okay, so you can see right here. Not an auto open, okay? That's one, it's got the timer, it beeps. But right here you can see this is the caddy. This is the end of the heat press. Okay, this could go on your regular caddy or your tabletop caddy. And they do come so you can bolt them down. I don't have this bolted down right now, so you can see it's got a little bit of a wobble to it. But when you're going to use this permanently for your work, you're going to want to put it on the right size workstation that can handle it. And then they've got bolts, so you can just bolt this right in and keep it on it permanently. So the Max is another option. It is a more economical than their other heat presses. It's a better price. It's a better price point, but you still are going to get all the things that you like about your Hotronix. You're going to get, like, right does mean tighter and left does mean looser, you know, which can be a confusing thing on other heat presses out there. All types. It still has a good quality build. It's still all milled and nice and clean. And it has their same, you know, good quality coil technology in there, so you get even heat across the whole thing. It's a nice heat press, and I recommend it. I'm going to turn this one off, and now let's move on to the next one. Let's get my stuff out of the way. Here's this is the 15 by 15 Max, by the way. We have this one in stock right now. Okay, so now here's another cool favorite of mine. Pam had asked about this. So this is the hover press. Okay, the hover press. The heat press portion obviously is this right here. Okay, underneath it, we've got the stand, and then we've also got the tables, and these can move around and be adjusted how you like them. And then underneath here, they've got where you can tighten them down and keep them into place. These are really cool. You know, you put on, you keep your transfers on here. You know, you have your couple shirts ready to go ahead of time. Very cool and awesome to have these little tables on the side. I constantly use them whenever I'm using this heat press. Now, I'm going to reach across. Pam asked how to use the hover mode. So let me show you. Another freaking beautiful manual. Okay. So, printing and pressing. There's 4 modes that this comes in. Mode 1 is pressure and pressure. That means pressure on 1, pressure on 2, right? Pressure, 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 always pressure. Mode 2 is hover pressure. And let's do that real quick. I'll just show you. I mean, let's just show you guys how this works. This one does have the upper wrap and the lower wrap, and we're going to thread that in a minute. But let me show you something that this does. So I'm going to turn it off. And on my instructions here, it says, with the power in the off, hold down the decrease and increase plus and mode button on the control panel for 3 to 5 seconds as you turn it on. So I'm going to hold these 2 down. And if you can see, I'm holding these 2 right here. Okay, I'm going to hold them down and turn it on. I'm going to wait 3 to 5 seconds. And then push mode. Okay, it says 555 should appear on the screen. 555. All right, press the mode center button again. At this time, choose option 1, 2, 3, or 4 by pressing the plus. So I'm going to go to mode 2. Mode 2 is my hover pressure. Okay. Once the desired setting is selected, press mode twice. There we go. Should have finished that sentence. Let's see. Then it just says once you're at the desired temperature, put your garment on. So what does this mean? Okay. So pressure was number 2 because I actually pushed it down once already. So now we're reset. We're back to start. Mode 2 is hover pressure. So that means hover. We're hovering now. It's pretty close. By the way, this isn't even close to full temperature, so I can safely put my hand here. But it's really close. It's about a finger depth. And then pressure. And then hover. And then pressure. And it goes back and forth, depending what you want it to do. When I want it, you can also do hover, hover, and you can do pressure, pressure, hover. So I'm going to turn it off, and I'm going to reset it back. I'm going to have it back on pressure, pressure, because that's what Folks seem to like it here lately. They've been doing some stuff with it. Mode, mode again, put it on number 1, press mode, and now we are back on pressure, pressure. So it's pretty easy to use. Again, a nice step-by-step instruction. You know, kudos to them again to show me. The first time I needed to do that, I was able to figure out. You know, the instructions are good when it works out right the first time. And again, the same thing, all your specs on it, all your parts, very cool. You know, I like talking about this freaking user manual because it's great. So anyway, let's talk about the threadability in these sheets. So I got a t-shirt here, and now this is what's awesome. I mean, there's no effort on getting this on. I wish I could show you how it feels. But it just goes on so smooth. So I like that. You don't have to mess with anything, with any resistance or any friction. And then when you want to take it off, you know, the same thing. Also, by the way, if you need to flip, you can actually do it just like that. That's just nice. I love that. So you can flip to your side or your front just by pushing and sliding it around. And then, you know, your pressure, and pressure. And then to get off, it just falls right off. There's going to be more friction the other way. Some folks don't like that. You know, they want to be able to know that they set it and the shirt doesn't move. If you want speed, though, you put this on the bottom and they will slide on and off. And then this is something that's really easy to clean. You know, damp cloth, and you can wipe this thing down, and it's new again. And then you've got your upper one, too. Not hot. Okay. So we've got another table to throw things on. These are two great places to create more mess and clutter in your shop. By the way, another great function of having more tables, more things you can throw stuff on. So I like this heat press too. This one's on the caddy. That is sold separate. These are sold separate, and this is sold separate along with that together. So here's the full lineup again. I'll step back here a moment. But I appreciate you coming out and spending a few minutes with me. If you do have another question, now's the time to ask it. Oh, I see. We got Darla walking by there, if you guys saw. Darla answers the phone all the time when you call. But here we are. You know, here's everything that Hotronix kind of has. Not everything that they have to offer, but everything that we have set up today to show you. And it's a good nutshell on everything and what they are. So if you are interested in a mats in a different size, it comes in different sizes. These come in the 16 by 20, and the same thing with the hover press. I see another question. We'll wrap these up at the end and see if there's anything else to answer. I am a Hotronix customer because we sell these products, and therefore I can say honestly that they've always treated me really well. And they've always treated us as a company really well, and our customers who have had questions or comments or concerns about their heat presses, everything's been fine, and they've been really good. So I'm going to say a big thumbs up on the Hotronix presses. I think that if you make the investment, you will not regret it. And that's one of the big things with something like that. I don't know anybody who said, I bought a Fusion, I wish I would have gone with a cheaper heat press. I don't know anybody who's told me that. Everyone says, basically, I bought my Fusion, it was an investment, and it's a champion of a machine, you know, and it's really good, and the quality's nice, and it's easy to use, and I can train people how to use it, and I can trust it. And I think that's what you need out of a heat press, and that's what you need out of a lot of things that you use. So, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. I've recorded this. Hopefully all of this will be online so you can rewatch it or share it again in the future. And if you have questions about heat presses, about the vinyl that I use, or about direct-to-garment or anything else, please give us a call at Coleman & Company and check out our website. We'll be happy to talk to you and help you out, and hopefully give you success in your business. Another couple quick plugs. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, I recommend it. Just go to Facebook, Custom Apparel Startups, search for it on the top, and then you'll see a join button right there. Click join our group. You're going to like being a member. Tons of questions being answered. There's also the Custom Apparel Startups. We do have a podcast, so that's CAS Podcast. You can search for it on iTunes, or you can go to caspodcast.com. HotronixPodcast.com. If you like listening to my voice and you want to hear another guy named Mark talk in the same room for about 30 minutes to an hour an episode, we've got 33, I think now, episodes just talking about small business and apparel business and starting up a custom apparel business and how to be successful. And not just because I'm on it, but because of the passion we put into it and the research that we do. I know that if you listen to that, you are going to have more knowledge on starting and running a business than most people in this industry do. And it's going to give you a leg up on success compared to the guy down the street who probably doesn't pay any attention to that, or the lady who owns a shop, down the road who doesn't really pay attention to the business side of things. So you can do that. And then, of course, ColemanandCompany.com. Please, we'd love for you to be customers of ours. We'd love for you to call us up and ask us about our products and see how we can help you to grow your business, whether it's through bling or rhinestones or vinyls or anything else that might be out there for you. So thanks for watching and have a good day.